go now to the gentleman and friend from Texas, the Honorable Judge Poe.
I thank the Chairman and the Ranking Member for letting me sit on the committee today. Ms. Engelbrecht, I have some questions for you. So short answers would work okay.
Okay.
Have you, after you started King Street Patriots and True the Vote, were you visited by the FBI?
Yes, sir.
Were you visited by the FBI terrorist squad, or whatever they call themselves, that investigate terrorists?
Yes, sir.
How many times did you have either meetings or conversations with the FBI?
There were 6 inquiries.
Were you visited by OSHA?
Yes, sir.
How many times?
Once.
The ATF?
Yes, sir.
How many times were you visited or audited by the ATF?
Twice.
And you were also visited by the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality?
Yes, sir.
The state agency of the EPA. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
The IRS, how many times?
2 personal audits, 2 business audits.
At some point, did you believe you were under some criminal investigation?
At some point, I didn't quite know what to think.
Did you come to me and ask for a FOIA request to see if you were being investigated criminally?
Yes, sir, I did.
And we got a response from the FBI.
Yes, sir, we did.
And they said what?
They said that they were not.
They were not investigating you for criminal enterprises.
Correct.
To your knowledge.
Correct.
Do you think that, well, let me ask you this. Were you, at any time after you started these 2 groups, harassed by so-called liberal or progressive groups?
Yes, sir, on a very regular basis.
And what does that mean, harassed?
Well, I think it can mean many things, but speaking falsehoods, bearing false witness, trying to take something like election integrity and turn it into something that divides us instead of unites us.
And in your opinion, were you harassed by legislators?
Yes, sir.
Do you believe that there should be a special prosecutor to investigate the IRS?
Yes, sir.
In 2013, on May the 14th, I sent Eric Holder a letter. Are you aware of the letter that I sent him asking for a special prosecutor and asking a bunch of questions about the IRS?
Yes, sir, I am.
I have not received a response from Eric Holder on these. Have you received a response?
No, sir.
Were you asked by the FBI, or the IRS rather, to produce all of the tweets that you ever tweeted?
Yes, sir.
Facebook posts?
Yes, sir.
Did you comply with that?
I don't do Facebook or Twitter.
The IRS, they wanted to know all the places that you spoke publicly.
Yes, sir.
Did they want copies of your speeches?
Yes, sir.
Let's get this correct. The federal government wanted a copy of a citizen's speech in a public forum.
Yes, sir.
Did they want to know where you were going to speak in the future?
Yes, sir.
Did they want to know the names of the groups you spoke to?
Yes, sir.
Did they want the mailing list or the attendee list of the people that were in attendance at the places that you spoke?
Yes, sir.
They wanted the speech. They want to know where it was. They want to know what you said. They want to know who was there.
Yes, sir.
Do you find that a little oppressive?
Find it highly political.
Do you think that the United States Constitution lets the federal government swoop in and chill the right of free speech by demanding all of this information?
That's not what the Constitution was built to do.
I had a chance to be in the Soviet Union back in the 80s. The people were totally oppressed by government. They were afraid of government. They were afraid to say anything or write anything about government because government would punish them, take their job, put them in jail, harass them, take their money, all of those things. Did you ever think that we would see in the United States of America a government through its agencies, the IRS, the FBI, OSHA, EPA, ATF, take on a citizen trying to keep you from criticizing government? Did you ever think that you would see that in this country?
No, sir, I never thought that I would see that, but I do see it. It is happening, and I hope that the American public sees this for what it is.
The gentlewoman will suspend. The chairman is responsible under the rules of the House and the rules of this committee to maintain order and preserve decorum in the room, so we ask everybody abide by that. Go ahead, Ms. Engelbrecht.
I didn't hear your answer. I'm sorry.
My answer was no. I never believed that this could happen, and for many years I didn't want to believe that, by all appearances, what seemed to be happening was in fact happening. And it is my hope now that we don't gloss over these moments, that we see them in their fullness for what they are, because it threatens to undermine the very fabric of this republic, sir.
Ms. Gerson, did you ever think that the things that I have mentioned, that has happened to you and Ms. Engelbrecht, did you ever, as an American, think that you would see government swoop down and punish you for exercising the right to criticize?
Absolutely not.
How does that make you feel as an American citizen?
Angry.
And you testified that you don't think we're doing enough to solve this oppression.
Correct.
Lastly, if I may, Mr. Chairman, my grandmother, who was my most influential person, Democrat, by the way, to my friends over there, used to say there was nothing more powerful than a woman that has made up her mind. I think we have three of those women right here today. Thank you.